Welcome to this morning's Feel Fresh Monday live recording of our Feel Fresh Mondays podcast. If you're watching this recording on YouTube or listening to the audio on Spotify, feel free to head to Drink Less, Feel Fresh, and you can register and show up live. For those of you that are live, jump into the chat panel, say hello. Let us know who's listening. Where are you tuning in from? Tommy Carr here, founder of Drink Less, Feel Fresh, accompanied by the very talented, well-dressed, definitely well-dressed today.
Definitely well-dressed today.
Nat Hodges. Nat, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. I've been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of planning over the break, and I've got so much. It's funny, Tommy, when in my experience, when I have time off, like it's like backlogging a water flow, like all of this new content just builds, so I'm ready to unleash.
That makes me excited.
Oh God, it's gonna be wild.
If you need a Drink Less, Feel Fresh, the reason why I'm excited that Nat's pumped and has a shit ton, the term that I would use, he used waterlogged, ton of content is because Nat is lead behavioral specialist at Drink Less, Feel Fresh. So if you're in any of our programs, you've got access to Nat to learn exactly how to change your relationship with alcohol. You poor souls. Oh, that's great. Nat, keen to dive into today. It's the first week back for us at Drink Less, Feel Fresh, and today you and I we decided actually, we kind of bypassed discussion and went straight to decision.
I like that.
That we're going to bring it back to basics. And I think the reason why I'm passionate about bringing it back to basics for today's episode of the podcast is because it is far too fucking overwhelming to start a new year thinking, what the hell am I doing? Where do I go? How much have I not done already? Am I already behind the 8 ball? Should I have changed my relationship with alcohol last year? I learned a heap last year and nothing's changed. Like, do you find that? It can be like the year just started and it can feel like we're 4 or 5 months in and got nowhere.
Yep. Did you hear me, Tommy? I got a good in my world. There was a good mix of like, mate, I heard the New Year's resolution come back pretty hot. Like I had a lot of people like, you know what? I am making a resolution this year.
Yeah, it kind of goes in ebbs and flows, don't you think? Like the New Year's Eve resolution is like a fad that never goes away.
As much as we'd like to, it's too big of a transition in our minds to be like, no, it's just another day. It's like, no, it's not.
Well said. It's a transition. Such a good way to put it, because we have heaps of people. We've got a bunch of emails come through on the Drink Less Feel Fresh website. What people wanting to change their relationship with alcohol in 2023, and you said it well. The end of a year and starting a new year is just an incredible transition phase that seems to. I'm going to use the word help a lot of people because it seems or looks like it helps a lot of people.
It forces reflection, for sure.
There we go. That would be a much better way to look at it, probably. It forces reflection because, to be honest, I've heard a lot more people set New Year's Eve resolutions than I've heard about people that stuck to and committed to their New Year's Eve resolution.
All right, Tommy. So I'm gonna lead us off here because you're the strategy master. If anyone doesn't know, the way Tommy and I work with clients, whether it's groups or individuals, is I look after the kind of the behind the scenes stuff, some of the emotional levers that get pulled during this process. But when you're out in the trenches of the Australian drinking culture and you've got to manage family and events and all these things, Tommy shines in that area. So I'm just going to assume, Tommy, probably going to keep it there in strategy world, which is what can you do starting this year? Is that about right?
Yeah, mate, 100%. I think we'll take listeners through, probably take 15 to 20 minutes today. Maybe we'll be on the call, depending on if any questions come through from our live listeners. Hello, I can see you on the call. Welcome.
Live listeners, the real OGs.
The real OGs. Any questions that come through, comment them in the chat panel. If we have time, we'll get to them. If there's a chance for Q&A, we'll answer some questions. Otherwise, we'll dive into our one of our more fundamental 3-step processes at DLFF, which at the end of the day, as you said, strategy. It seems so surface level. It's a strategy. It's something you can apply. It's something you can take action on. But at the end of the day, if you can't look after this, then everything else becomes really hard. It's the simple strategies that make the world go round. It's the simple strategies that make all the difference. And this will sound so simple, yet you'll notice straight away as you're listening to this, where it can seem so simple, but it can be really difficult for you as an individual. And that's just an insight. That isn't an insight to go, well, it's difficult for me, I'll change the strategy, which is what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
It's, well, that's difficult for me. Maybe I need to nail it. Maybe I need to get better at it.
Yep. Beautiful.
So we'll dive straight into it, mate. Our 3-step
All
process and strategy. And what I was thinking, that, unless you've got a different idea, is I'll give a quick helicopter view of the 3 steps, and then we might dive into each level.
Sweet. Yeah. Done.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool. So the 3-step process, here it is. If you're wanting to change your relationship with alcohol, whether you're habitual drinker, so these are the kind of 3 types of drinkers that we come across, or we notice that come through the doors of Drink Less Feel Fresh. We're our habitual drinker. Hey, I drink 2 to 3 glasses of wine a night. I have 3 to 5 beers a night at the end of every day, kind of habitually. Feels like a habit every day. Just get home, have a drink. That's about it. That's the first drinker we come across. And then we've got the binge drinker. You know what, Tom, Nat, I don't drink all too often. Maybe it's just my Friday night. Maybe it's a Saturday night. Sometimes
when I do.
There we go. Sometimes I don't drink for weeks, but when I do, it's a blowout. It's either blackout drunk, or I wake up with regret, or I just wake up with such a nasty hangover. Yeah. It's the opposite of moderation, which is...
You get that nice anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety. It's the opposite of drinking in moderation, which is, I did not stop before the negative repercussions kick in. I kept drinking.
I kept doing it.
Yeah. So those are the 2 kind of relationships with alcohol we see a lot. And then the third individual that we don't see as much at Drink Less Feel Fresh, there's many other, more often than not a judgment, but government supported, charity focused, free support networks for the third type of individual. But this is the habitual binge drinker, which is drinking every day to a
more
binge
alcohol dependent
level. Yeah, more alcohol dependent, to a level that either life's really difficult to handle on my own without alcohol, and I'm just kind of getting through. And so those are the kind of 3 levels. At the end of the day, this strategy will look after any and all level. Depending what your relationship with alcohol looks like will depend on kind of how much nurturing and support you need. And there's a chance, what I love about these podcasts is there's a chance that we'll share this strategy with someone, a heap of people, I should actually say, and you'll go and apply it. No more support from that, arrive. You might not even show up to another podcast, and you'll completely change your relationship with alcohol.
You'll change your relationship with alcohol, yeah.
That's what I love. Don't fall into the trap of alcohol. If you're dependent on it, there's only one way to do it, and it takes years, and it takes this and it's that. It's like that for a lot of people, but not for everyone. But
kind of slips up in here, Tommy, really quickly, is that, guys, because the quote unquote problem with alcohol, the relationship can get quite intense, and it can get quite overwhelming for people. We assume that the strategy out is going to be really difficult. So some people they because it's a pretty intense topic. For some, they think the way out is going to be really difficult. It's not. It's really not that difficult. The difficulty is in kind of, I would say, Tommy, would you agree with kind of accepting how easy these steps are and just doing it with parking your judgments?
Oh, 100, you've nailed it. Another way to look at it, or I heard that, I fully accepted and understood what you were saying there years ago, and I heard a quote along the lines of, the time it took you to create the problem doesn't need to be the time it takes you to heal the problem.
Yep, nice.
And I really look at alcohol in that way. A lot of people assume that, well, because I'm doing it, I hear this a lot, especially with the over 45, over 50 category of individuals. I hear this, yeah, but I've been drinking for a long time, Tom. Oh, yeah, but I've been doing this for 30 years, Tom. You were only doing it for 12 years before you realized you had a problem. I've been doing it for 40. And there's this thinking that, well, because I've been doing it longer, it's going to take longer to let go of or overcome. And as you said, not necessarily the case. Or one other way to look at it is, it can take 8 years of not taking responsibility and 6 months of taking responsibility to look after those 8 years.
To clean everything up. Yep, easy.
Well
Easy
said.
done.
You can... Taking responsibility to a high degree can conquer, overcome. You can achieve so much.
That little thing on me. Oh, that little thing, yeah, it's on me too. Oh, that not doing it, yeah, it's on me. Just do that. It's on me, and everything will sort of help out.
Yeah, that is exactly right.
Tommy, so take it through 3 steps, bud.
So 3 steps. If you want to change your relationship with alcohol, here's what we've found over the past nearly 6 years now, probably 8 years, 9 years for me in the alcohol reduction specific industry, much longer for Nat in overall teaching humans how to live with choice and freedom regarding any and all addiction and attachment issues. Here's what we found seems to be one of the most beneficial approaches. Not for everyone, one of the most beneficial approaches out there. Number one, detox. Experience a short, sharp detox. Here's the polar opposite that we found to be, and here's why. Because what we found is one of the hardest ways to change your relationship with alcohol is going from, and remember, this is specifically for you if you're drinking to a level that you don't want, is I'm going to change my relationship with alcohol the way that I'd like to, and just by drinking a little bit less. You're not really doing anything different other than the thing you wake up every Monday morning and say to yourself anyway, which is I'm going to drink less this week, but you don't. So number one, detox. Experience a detox, complete sobriety period. We suggest 30 days.
What would you recommend? 30 days, Tommy, as a starting point?
Yeah, 30 days for the starting point, and here's why. That's a lot for some and a little for others.
Nice.
If that's a little for others, then normally the 90-day periods for them. If it's a lot for others, then normally the 7-day periods for them. But the reason why we suggest 30 days is because you'll get a glimpse immediately into what's going to be required of you. Someone will listen to this podcast and go, shit, I don't feel like I want to because I've got these events coming up, but listening to that podcast, let me see what happens. And they'll start a 30-day detox in 7 days and go, oh, I don't know what I was so worried about.
Well, exactly. We hear that response a lot, eh? Like, oh, hang on, I'm feeling really good.
There we go. Yeah. So you'll get insight into that it's the journey for you, and you realize, oh, this is easier than I thought. This is amazing. I want to keep going. Or you'll have the other piece of feedback, which is just as important, which is, this is fucked. This is shit. This is a struggle. Oh my God. I didn't want to become aware of this, but I think I'm dependent on our alcohol because I can't get through the first day.
Yes.
And so, that's the reason for the detox. The reason why step one is detox as opposed to just stop at 2 drinks, maybe just drink Friday, Saturday nights, is you're taking the long road. If you don't do a detox, you're taking the long road to get the feedback you get in 30 days. That's all it's for. If you detox, you're going to get the feedback on who you are and what's required.
Where you're at.
Easy, or how difficult it is straight away. As opposed to, I remember doing this in 2014, when I first wanted to change my relationship with alcohol over 10 years ago, or nearly 10 years ago. I did the whole, I'm gonna do 2 drinks and then stop. That never worked. I'm going to drive tonight.
never worked.
Ended up leaving my car at every place and having to get $60 Uber the next day to it. Excuse me. I'm not going to drink before 5 p.m. That never worked. I was at lunch at the pub with mates. I was ordering beers. And so it took so long for me until 2015. 8 months later.
I love the effort, that Tommy. Great effort.
Yeah, thank you, mate. When I said I'm going to detox, I was like, I'm going to do 7 days without the piss. Oh boy, did I get some lessons and learnings. And it wasn't until those 7 days that I realized I was struggling so much that I looked at myself and thought, Tommy, you've been fucking kidding yourself, mate. You've been bullshitting yourself. You've been luring yourself along with this bullshit facade of that you are in control and that you've got a handle on things. And so I just, smack bang in the face, realized I'm really struggling to not live. I'm really struggling to live without alcohol. And then funnily enough, though, 3 to 4 months after that, I decided to do a 5-month detox and crushed it. And I've never looked back. And that was the year that I changed my relationship with alcohol. So, that's the inside of step one. It's just detox. Another way to look at it is, actually, now before we go into it, because we're going into the steps a bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to helicopter view. Don't let me go into the next step so deeply.
Okay. Can I have one question, but because I'm right on it, is that okay?
Yeah.
Would you say, just by hearing you talk through that, would you say that it would be unfair on yourself to kind of think where you're at? It sounds like to me this. It sounds like you actually need to do a detox to actually get a clear view on the landscape of you and alcohol. If you're in it and you're drinking, I assume it would be so hard to even assess where you're at. You've almost got to pause so you can get a real view of where you're at with it, right?
110%. 110%. Yeah, we'll dive more into that.
Okay, good. Got it. Go. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll definitely dive more into that for sure. So the first step is detox. Second step is, whilst you're detoxing, manage emotions. So it's really simple. You detox and you manage yourself. the key is that when you're detoxing, you have to manage yourself. If you can't reach for that glass of wine at the end of the day, or you're sitting in
You got to manage yourself.
there we go. If you're sitting in a corporate, event or work meeting, and everybody's having a glass of bubbles, and you're apparently not allowed, or you've told yourself you're not, you have to figure out how to manage yourself. So it's detox. Step 2, manage yourself. Step 3, drink less. So detox, manage self, go back to alcohol. Detox, manage self, go back to alcohol. And it's as simple as that. Most people start with step 3, which is more alcohol, just like keep drinking, just less.
Just less, yeah. It's not gonna, it's not gonna change anything.
Yeah, detox, manage yourself, drink less. And when we say the words drink less, what we mean is introduce alcohol back into your life. This is by the way, this is assuming that the people that are listening want to have a relationship with alcohol that they love and respect. If that means having some alcohol in your life, then this is for you. If it's not, then obviously you just get rid of step 3. So if you're sitting there going, but I don't want to drink tomorrow, it's not the step for you.
And this is where I think we see some really great, like, pivotal moments in the alcohol reduction journey with us as facilitators. People will get to the end of their detox time. They've detoxed, they've crushed it, they've managed themselves. And then they go, Tom and Nat, where am I at now? And we can have a really frank discussion about the next 30 days or what the next couple of months look like. So it doesn't have to be I'm back out in the wild now. Am I going to be okay? It's a constant process of checking in. Where are we at? You know what I mean, Tom?
Oh, it's no different to I always use the analogy. It's no different to experiencing the success that you wanted in business, or let's say you're in a career and you experience all your goals. You get the promotion, you get to the level that you can get to in management. You think, imagine if you just never stopped and reflected. Yeah. You just go, okay, I'll stay here now. No, that's not the way life works. You go, what do I want for myself? Do I want to change careers? Or if you're in a relationship and it kind of feels like it's stagnating and it got really good, the honeymoon period, as you say, Nat's like over. You always stop, as Nat started this call, like at the start of January, a lot of people, you're always stopping and reflecting. There's this weird thing in the alcohol reduction industry where it's like, no time for stop and reflection, just time for keep doing sobriety. Where's the stop? Where's the reflection? I think
that's a question here, Tommy, if that's all right. Can I drop a question here from one of the listeners? Yeah. Okay, beautiful. One of our listeners has just written in here, detox for 11 months, felt amazing, felt fantastic. Slowly got back into drinking. So looking at step 3, but the binge drinking crept back in. How do we start to cope with the patterning starting again?
Follow the strategy. Go back to detoxing.
Just go back to the So if it feels it creeping, and how do you get the awareness on that, Tommy? What's the signals to look for?
The person, so the no fluff answer is the person already has it. So the person that asked the question already has the awareness, and they just got the answer. That's it. So anybody that's listening, the minute you listen, the minute that you get the lesson and the learning is the minute that you become aware of it. It's like a lot of people try to.
Is there anything to look out for, Tommy? Is there anything to look out for as we're entering back into step 3, and we're still learning about ourselves? Is there any signals to look out for to go, oh, hang on, I got to watch that, or I got to watch that, just to build that awareness?
Guilt or regret.
The minute
you experience guilt or regret.
Yeah, good. Got it.
This is it. It's not about how much alcohol you consume. It's about the context. I don't care if people drink a bowl of scotch a night. Like, I just don't. That doesn't faze me. We care. Are you happy? Are you living with choice? Are you living with freedom? If it's what you want to be doing, great. But if it's not, then all you've got to be aware of, to look out for, are those pain points. You got to start trusting your intuition. Pain is a part of life. If you start feeling a little bit guilty because of how much you drank the night before, that's because the guilt is trying to let you know, hey, hey Tom, hey Nat, just trying to give you a nudge here. Just remember, you're kind of doing that thing that you didn't want to be doing anymore.
Yep.
If you were supposed to be drinking to the extent that you were, you wouldn't be feeling the guilt. I know individuals that drink a lot and they love it and they gain significance from it. And they post about it all the time, like, hey, look, everything is that. It's like they're still feeling the pleasure effects from it. I'm just looking for the term. Bear with me one sec, Nat.
Great answer, Tommy. Just got a great confirmation from that answer. Well done from our listener.
When it comes to awareness, one of the problems that people experience, we found is that people try to overcome what's called hindsight. It's like
the hindsight bias.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with hindsight. How do I make sure it doesn't happen again? Hindsight, you can't get around it. You can only learn from looking back.
It's hindsight.
There we go. I don't know how else to say. It's hindsight. So a lot of the time we get the question in our Drink Less Feel Fresh community, we get it a lot. Tom, I don't want that to happen again. And I say, I don't, you don't want what to happen again. As an example, for one of our listeners live right now is saying that she did 11 months sober, felt great, then introduced alcohol, and then it crept back up. And we get this question of like, but I don't want that to happen again. And the answer is like, okay, well, detox the rest of your life. Never pick up a drink. Go down that route. That's the route for you. But it's also a debilitatingly strangling approach, which is I'm going to remove a problem from my life or a part of my life so that I never have to deal with it again, which is fine. It's fantastic for a lot of people. In my experience, it's not really the way life goes.
It's breaks a lot of my internal rules of how people flourish. You can't deny anything. You can't push anything out of your awareness.
Yeah, it's
Story
hard
here,
to
Tommy.
look at life. Yeah,
one of our incredible members, long-term members, she has crushed it. Done many detoxes, all the versions, 7-day, 30-day, 90-day, big long ones, right? And always gone no booze. Gets back to stage 3, starts to get into alcohol again, has definitely changed, but still there's struggle there. In the last detox, she actually went for the 2-drink standard. And she said she learnt more in the festive season challenge, allowing the 2-drink standard, than any other detox before about herself.
Yeah, there we go.
Crazy.
For anybody that's listening, what Nat's referring to there is we run 30, 60, 90-day detoxes and challenges in our Drink Less Feel Fresh membership community. And yeah, as he said, one of our members kept doing the abstain from alcohol. And it was the first time ever she said, you know what, I want to do this 2-drink standard challenge you do, which is a challenge that we run where individuals they can have 2 drinks any day for the 30 days, but they can't have more and have to reflect and pause. And that scares the hell out of people. And this individual experienced, as Nat said, more about herself. And that's such a great story and example, Nat. Perfect example of living life as it is, through failure, through accepting life, through having a go. It's scarier, but actually, I'll interrupt that thought because something I wanted to share with you from a question that you asked a little bit earlier, Nat. Earlier you asked on step 1, you said when it comes to step 1, so just to clarify if anyone's jumped on late, we've got detoxing, manage emotion, drink less. I said this to someone on a call in December. They said, hey, Tom, I want to chat to you next year about changing my relationship with alcohol. They said, what do you think is going to be appropriate for me? And I said, well, first of all, we can chat next year if you don't want to do it now. And they said, I just want to get an insight. I said, oh, cool. You're up for a detox. They said, oh, I just want to drink in moderation. I said, yeah, we'll get there, but you're going to need to start with the detox. And they said, why? And all I said was this, and they just laughed and they said, fair play, and we hung up. I said,
great.
Because if you can't live without it, you don't deserve it.
Nice. That is epic.
And that's one of the real fundamental ways to look at alcohol. If you can't live without it, you do not deserve it. Alcohol, I think, in this country is about getting back to a place of respect. A lot of us have lost touch with this incredible drug that was often used to celebrate, to raise a glass in ceremony,
to
pay
meaning.
tribute, have meaning behind it. And I think the aim of the game is to get back to respecting alcohol, whether that's respecting it to the degree of knowing how powerful it is and how not good it is for you, so you never drink again, or respecting it to a level of enjoying a cocktail, or my level of respect is I love finishing a game of golf and having a cold beer with my dad, or if I'm in Hawaii and I want to have a daiquiri with my wife, like a place of respect. And so people kind of often find it funny when I refer to alcohol as often being a bit of a narcissistic relationship, where alcohol makes you feel good when you're with it, and it'll make you feel like shit if you don't surrender to it. So it's like, come back here, and it does that. Makes you feel shit. So no different to relationships in your life. If you can't live without that person, often I don't think you deserve them. To feel completely free with someone or a substance suggests that you are choosing for it to be in your life. The same as love, you're choosing to have that depth of love with that person, and it will conquer, when you don't feel love or when you don't feel, whatever it might be. I think it's a great way to look at life, which is just simple. If you can't live without it, then you don't deserve it. And when people get to that place of going, you know what, I can choose not to have alcohol, and I know that I can because I've done it before, and I'll do it again this month if I need to prove it to myself. So yeah, that's paramount. If anyone's listening, and the reason why we wanted to do this call today is just to get back to the basics, which is if you're starting year and you think, I really want this year to be different, then
that's the process.
You got to step up. You got to
Question,
acknowledge
Tommy,
that it's time for a detox.
Let's give a little attention to step 2. 1's clear, 3's clear. What's 2 off the top of your head? People are going to detox. They're going to have to manage themselves. What are the most common things that will come up, and how do we work with those?
So the most common thing to be aware of, I would suggest, is that you're only ever consuming alcohol for one or two reasons: to enhance your state or to minimize your state. So you're looking to amplify a state that you're in, or you're looking to suppress and shut it down. And all that means is, at the end of the day, and just before I share this, the reason why I share this is to break the thought that anyone that says, no, it's just a habit for me.
Yeah, that's the thing I enjoy the other.
No, it's just a habit. It's just a habit. No, habits are formed. Habits are formed to manage emotion and energy. That's all. Habits are formed to manage emotion and energy. A lot of people aren't aware of that, so they get stuck in the thinking, no, it's just a habit for me. I don't have emotional issues. I don't have stress that I'm suppressing. It's not stressful for me. I'm feeling great at the end of the day. We hear that a lot. No, I feel great though. That's another misconception in the alcohol reduction industry is, well, I don't know why I keep drinking because I don't have childhood trauma and I'm not stressed at the end of the day. In fact, I'm living a great life. People get so confused. So when we say step 2 is manage emotion, all you've got to be aware of is that you'll start to get potentially agitated or frustrated.
Just subtle stuff.
Just subtle stuff. That's right. And so when I say you're either drinking to enhance an emotion, let's say you're in an event, a work event, everybody might be excited, or you might get home from a day and you want to celebrate. So you're trying to enhance a feeling that you enjoy. You're like, I want to capitalize on this. Yay. Which is a sneaky sucker with alcohol, because everyone assumes that's a good thing, right? They're like, no, I'm just drinking because I love it. Sucks people in. Or the other one is that you'll start to get frustrated or angry, or you will start to realize that you're stressed at the end of the day, or you'll start to realize like, oh, I didn't realize that I don't enjoy cooking dinner. I just enjoyed drinking, so I was cooking dinner. Subtleties that people realize. It seeps in, and that's what we mean by step 2, which is manage emotion. I look at alcohol and I think it's a great perception or perspective, I should say, for a lot of people, which is alcohol is nothing more than a peak performance drug. You're looking to increase your performance on a daily or a weekly or an event basis. Whenever you're drinking alcohol, you're just looking to increase your performance. Whether that's, as I said, capitalize on an emotion. So I'm performing happiness right now. I want to, peak that happiness. Or you might be feeling, I'm dull. I don't like this fucking person at this event. I want to drink so I don't have to deal with them. That's peak performance again. I don't know about you, Nat. I'm a big fan of that. Like, alcohol is just a peak performance drug. You just
in whatever way you want to use it.
There we go. And people that say, I've got a call next or later this week with a awesome person who wants to change their relationship with alcohol, and they were suggesting, I just have 2 wines, but I'm, at the end of the day when I get home to cook dinner, I just have 2 wines. Well, something is going on for that person where apparently they're performing at a better level during those hours
during
of 5 to 7
cooking.
with the 2. There we go. With the 2 wines, there's something in there that's saying this glass of red is helping concoct a better performance out of me.
Yes.
And so when you take that away, you're going to have to figure out how to deal with that. Again, what we started the call with, which is you're going to learn either how easy it is or how difficult it is. And that's great feedback.
It's great feedback. It's the feedback, eh?
That's all we're looking for. All you're looking for. And this is huge. It's such a different conversation for people now. Like, people that follow the drink stuff, it's such a different conversation to like, well, no, the minute you tell us you're a habitual drinker, chances are you're an alcoholic. And even if you're not, you shouldn't be drinking.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be drinking.
Yeah.
Where's the conversation about performing at high levels, managing emotion,
Wanting more for your life?
wanting more? There's such a bigger conversation to be had here, and just simply having the awareness to say, I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's wrong. Tom and Addison like talking about they do detoxes for hundreds of people and it seems to work. I'm just going to start a detox on my own. And you'll either crush it and you'll be so thankful. We've never had anyone crush a detox and feel shit or guilty about doing a detox ever.
I will say one thing there is that when we're detoxing, it's a choice. When you make a choice, I'm going to do a certain amount of time without alcohol. There's only a small amount of the population, small amount that can actually make a decision and create self-accountability the whole way through. So when we have people, I've tried to do a detox and I can't do it. It's like, only between 18 and 20% of the population can actually execute that psychologically. 50% of the population will need someone there with them. And the remaining will need high contact, high touch point to get it done. And that's just how our brains are set up. It's not even a personal thing.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought some stats into it, Nat, because if you don't find it easy, that's what I was about to share, just not in such an accurate way as you. Not so statistically, which is great. This is why I love you, Nat. You're going to find it challenging. But here's I just love jamming about the strategy. It's fucking ridiculous that when it comes to alcohol, apparently if you need help, it automatically assumes you're fucked up or you have a problem or you've
problem bucket. Yeah.
What do you mean? People go to see their tax accountant to do their tax return at the end of the day. Does anyone go, oh shit, I don't know how to do my own taxes. I better go and study mathematics and law and tax and whatever it is. I don't even know. They're my worst topics.
Mathematics.
You know what I mean?
Law.
Like, there we go. That's an insight view. Imagine if I felt I beat myself up like I'm an idiot because I need it. Yeah. No, I'm just like, I'll just pay the tax guy to do that.
Yeah.
if I wanted to lose weight, or if I wanted to build muscle mass and get into shape physically, and I wanted to go and speak to a gym, a trainer, a personal trainer, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, man, I got huge weight issues. I really need to get to the gym. And if we do think that way, as you said, Nat, it doesn't work. There's so many areas of life where we want to develop, and we just go and develop. But with alcohol, it's like, oh, I can't ask for help. Because if I ask for help, I'm one of those people. It's got addiction. Yeah. It made it absolutely baffles me.
Yeah, I love what you said. When we first started working together, Tommy, this was ages ago now, people go on a diet and they get championed. Oh, well done, and they go get a coach or help or whatever. It's the same thing. It's a health strategy. I want to feel more of me and healthy and alive. People go, I'm reducing my alcohol, and it's a big eyebrows raised, questions, what's going on? It's insane.
I saw one of the most judgy Instagram reels a few weeks ago, which was like an alcohol-free ad, like how to go alcohol-free or alcohol-free wine or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I got suckered into reading a couple of comments. And someone wrote in there something along the lines of, the only people that stop drinking alcohol have a bad history with alcohol. and it was a perfect example of how often the tribe in society works. It's like, well, if you need to stop drinking alcohol, it means you have issues with alcohol.
You have,
Yeah, and that sums it up so well, which is why so many people are afraid and scared to change their relationship with alcohol. It's like, well, I don't want everyone to think or label me as an alcoholic, even if I don't think I'm an alcoholic. Like, is that going to happen? Like, especially for people that are drinking one glass of wine every 2 nights. Like, I've had someone join the Drink Less Feel Fresh community, literally said to me, I said, just curious, like, what's your intake like and what's the context, what's going on with you? They said, oh, I was so surprised. They're like, just Friday nights, I have a couple glasses of wine. And I said, yeah, and what about the other nights of the week? No, I don't drink. Right? It's probably one of the smallest amounts of alcohol intake. And it was just a beautiful example of, like, how would that person feel if they wanted to cut out having 2 glasses of alcohol each week? Yeah. And they were, by the way, they were also having this conversation with me, like, well, I just don't want people to think I'm an alcoholic. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Imagine someone says to you, "Oh, I'm doing Lent this year. I'm doing 31 to 30
Yeah.
days without chocolate." Oh, do you have a chocolate addiction? What? Oh, I've got a goal to lose 3.5 kilos this month and feel fresh. Oh, I didn't know you were obese.
Yeah.
We don't speak to people like that unless it's
It sounds
alcohol.
ridiculous because it is.
Yeah. It's so simple. It sounds ridiculous because it is. Listeners, 3-step process. Detox. Reason why? If you can't live without it, you don't deserve it. Like a relationship in your life, if you want to strengthen that relationship, sometimes take a break from it and come back to it. Like your relationship with work, if you feel like you need to quit before you quit, take a 2-week holiday, come back to it, see how it goes. You know, we're so fast at just bailing out of things. Take a break, refresh, manage your emotion, and then come back to it. It's the same 3 steps: detox, manage emotion, come back to alcohol. Same as work, same as relationships in your life, same as most things in life. Trial and error, see how it goes. And if you get enough feedback to suggest that it just ain't working for you, then you'll be in a position to go, it's not working for me because I tried it, I tested it, it doesn't suit me. As opposed to, I wasn't sure and the world told me I should never drink again.
Tommy, you've crushed it, mate.
How we doing? Good call.
We've got a little bit of a bonus, but here we are. First session back, first podcast back.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome to a new year. Again, for anybody that's listening to the recording, either on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify right now, you can head to drinklessfeelfresh.com and you can register for these calls. We've had a few listeners on the call commenting through, which has provoked some thought and some additional insights from Nat and I. So feel free to register, rock up live. We'll see you next Monday morning to drink and less and feel refreshed. Thanks, Nat.
Great to be back, mate. Great to be back. See you, team. Thanks for listening.
Great way to start the week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.